Hello and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Knits. My name is Rachel. Today it is Saturday, not Friday. Typically I film my little YouTube channel on a Thursday or Friday and post, but because we are in the back to school mode and just trying to get life together, I did not have any time to film. Child, let me be real. I have to get ready for school. Like, school for me as a teacher starts next week. I had the expectation to relocate to a new classroom. So I spent all last week, which was our first week back as teachers, getting my room set up, attending professional development meetings, then going to back to school night activities for both my sons. So I've had zero time. On top of that, I'm supposed to be doing homework because I took a yarn class, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute. So all in all, it has been a hectic 2 weeks, which is the reason why I'm filming today and that this is going on YouTube later than usual. Typically, for those of you who are new, I post my videos on Fridays by 5 p.m. So thank you so much for joining and bearing with me as I try to get my life together. So right now in my hands, I'm in the process of weaving in ends because I have not one but two finished objects to share with you all today. In addition, I have a works in progress update. And then finally, I would love to share with you some other yarny adventures I'm up to. So with that said, and I'm going to try my best not to stare at my nails, but I had an appointment yesterday. I found time for that to get my nails done. I got the cat eyes and woo, I love it. Anywho, here's my first finished object. It's for my sister-in-law. This is the Ooey Gooey by Andrea Mowry. I know I have an in or two to weave in, but it came out really nice. I decided to do short sleeve because I was a little kind of tired of working on the project. I just didn't really want to work on it. I'm really ready to start something new. I'm ready to start some of my fall projects. And I've been working on this since the pattern came out in July. So the Ooey Gooey is a sport weight pattern that calls for 2 yarns. When her actual design, she used Spincycle and Farmer's Fiber Daughters. I probably still said it wrong. I always say the name of that brand wrong. But anywho, she used those two in order to make her beautiful sweater. And the second I saw it, I fell in love with it. So I already talked about the Ooey Gooey in my previous video, but just to give you details, just in case you don't know, the Ooey Gooey, as I said before, is a sports weights pattern. It calls for a 3.5 millimeter needle and a 2.75 for the ribbing. It's not too complicated, to be honest with you. There are a total of 3 charts, but they're short charts. You can pretty much, it becomes really intuitive. For an example, I realized I was making a mistake on one of them because I was knitting at night and just wasn't paying as close attention as I should have. And I realized immediately the mistake I was making because, as I said before, the chart is pretty intuitive. You'll be able to pick on it pretty quickly. So if you are looking for like a new to you colorwork pattern, as I mentioned before in my previous video, this is definitely one I would recommend because, as you can see, which I'll hold up in just a second, I'm weaving in my ends. It's pretty simple. You start off doing the colorwork section, which is new to me. I usually am used to doing like the collar in the main color and then doing the colorwork. And the way she has you start off, you start with the contrasting color, which I found to be actually a really good idea. I enjoyed it the minute I put it on my needles, which is why I offered to make the pattern for my sister-in-law because I really wanted to have her join in with us when we're at Rhinebeck and we're enjoying our festivities. So those are the 2 ends I needed to weave in, and I'll cut them. So here, I'll do this. You start off with the collar and your contrasting color. And so, believe it or not, this is all one Spincycle yarn. This is the specialty color for a yarn store in Kansas City that I was close to. Unfortunately, I didn't actually get a chance to go, but one of my knitting buddies went to the yarn store and was able to pick up. I'm trying to film this while the lighting is still good, so bear with me. Hopefully it will stay with me. So anywho, you start off with that, then you do your welts, and then you do the colorwork pattern. And as you can see, it works out really well. Now, I noticed that there's this little white stripe. What I was trying to do, because I realized immediately that I did not have enough yarn, but I was committed to using this color. I tried using this lace cream yarn that I have that I thought would blend really well with this, because this looks beige, but it's actually more of a dove gray. And in my mind, it was going to work. It didn't work, as you can see. But fortunately, it's in just one section. And I feel like it adds a little something, something to it. In addition, I didn't do a very good job blending it, but I decided to use some leftover yarn from another one of the projects I made for her 2 years ago now. I made her the Weekender. And so I wanted to use that yarn because I had that left over, hoping that that will make the main color last a little longer. It didn't. If I had my time back, I would have did more helical knitting rather than just going straight from using the main color to trying to blend in with her others. But all in all, it came out fairly well. I think she's going to like it. In worst case scenario, if she doesn't, I still have plenty of time to make her another one because this is a fast knit. I can honestly say if this was the only project I had worked on, I could have done this in a week, maybe 2 weeks tops. And that's with life interruption. So I can honestly say to you, if you are a fairly advanced knitter and this is your first colorwork project, you will be perfectly fine knitting this. So this is the Ooey Gooey by Andrea Mowry using Spincycle as my contrasting color and using Holst Garn as my main color. And the color I chose was like a pearl gray. And the reason why I decided to go forward with crops, sorry about the crinkle, I decided to get her this nice little button down shirt. And so I ordered this, I don't even know where I ordered this from. It's either Shein or Temu or even possibly Amazon. But I ordered this for her and I thought that the two, oh my God, this is going to go so well. So she'll get that. So I'm going to give this to her tomorrow, actually, because it's her birthday. So I hope she likes that. In addition to the sweater, she's getting a little candle too. So I think she's going to enjoy her birthday presents for me. So that's the first finished object that's all fully put together that I cannot wait for her to have and she can wear when we go to Rhinebeck. The second finished object is still on the wet blocking mat because I think it's still damp, but maybe it's not too bad. But here, I'll hold it up. Oh, it looks so pretty on camera. Oh, I love it. This is called the Freestyle sweater. This is by Susan Muller, maybe. This is one of the patterns that I've had in my queue for, I want to say at least 2 years. And for whatever reason, I did not cast on because there was always another project that I ended up being called to or just didn't move forward with. But for this one, I decided to, this summer, I wanted to make more summer tees. And although we're getting towards the end of summer, I definitely think I can get some wear out of it, at least for September and October. And on the mornings where it's a little cool, I can always wear like a little denim jacket over it. But this is with the freestyle shirt, because I keep calling it freestyle sweater, because there is a freestyle sweater and there's a freestyle shirt. The version I made is a freestyle shirt. This freestyle sweater, it has 3/4 length sleeves where you do like this little pinching. Whereas with the freestyle shirt, I mean, it's a little hard to see because of the dark yarn, but essentially you are going to, oh goodness, it's sitting wet down. But anywho, you are going to fold over your sleeves, the cuff of your sleeves, and she walks you through the whole process. Now, when she tells you to put a lifeline in, follow those directions. Please don't be like me, where I was like, I don't even like lifelines and I don't really know how to do them that well, so I'm not going to do it. I wish I followed her directions because the hem is what took me the longest. It wasn't the body, it wasn't the neck, it wasn't anything else. It was the hem. It took me days. I even had to take a break because I was getting so frustrated. And had I just put the lifeline in, I would not have had to do that. So trust me, any part of the pattern that she says, put in a lifeline, take the time out to watch a video on how to put in a lifeline and put in the lifeline. That's something I wish I had did. I did learn my lesson for the sleeves. So I went ahead and put in the lifeline for the sleeves and it came out much better and much faster. And for the collar, I decided I didn't want to do this as a folded over because I'm hoping to wear this in more of our warmer or cooler seasons, not necessarily in the winter. And I found that folding over collars are really great for me in the winter time. So I just decided to do the ribbing to the same length as it would have been if it was a folded over collar. And I still did the little she has you do this one specific piece that makes it look almost like a pearl. So I still did that. So, and again, I know that the lighting is not the best, but you can probably see here where it's a little bit more defined as well. So I look forward to wearing this for you all. Although I'm horrible about wearing my knits on camera, as you can see, because I'm wearing a t-shirt rather than wearing my knits. But this is my most comfortable wear when I am knitting. So Friday, this is the freestyle sweater shirt. Let's try again. This is the freestyle shirt by Susan Muller. It is another sport weight pattern. It calls for a 3.5 millimeter needle. I don't know the US numbers, or letters. I don't do those, sorry. But it calls for or at least in my knitting. But anywho, it calls for a 3.5 millimeter needle for the body. And I think it's either a 2.25 or 2.5 for the ribbing. You have to look back at the pattern. I chose to do 2.75 for the ribbing because I didn't have a 2.25 or 2.5 needle that worked well with that. So I just went ahead and did 2.75, and I liked the way it was looking. It still gave it a nice polished look, and I think that's one of the reasons why she wants you to use the needles for that. So all in all, I'm really excited that I was successful in completing not one but two projects. And now I want to share with you some projects that I have in progress. First work in progress I would like to share with you is my second Ooey Gooey sweater. Like I said before, I fell in love with the pattern, so I was really excited about that. So for my second one, I'm doing this for myself, and because I was loving it so much is the reason why I volunteered to do it for my sister-in-law, and it's been on hold for a minute. I just went into a zone with her sweater. I really was enjoying the use of the yarn because for her yarn, I use Spincycle and I use Holst, Holst garn. And it's a yarn I purchased. I think they're based in Denmark or Germany, one of the two. But I really loved hearing so many wonderful things about it. And it has been sitting in my collection for so long. And I was so happy that I finally found a sweater that I thought it would be perfect for. The issue that I ran into for that particular sweater is that I just didn't have enough to do the full length of the sweater, to do the body and the long length sleeves. And I'm afraid to place an order for it because, as you know, with the tariffs happening with the United States, some yarn companies are just saying like, no, we're not shipping to you, like Knitting for Olive. So that brings me to my sweater. I went ahead and decided to, like, when I saw the message from Knitting for Olive saying that they weren't going to be shipping to the United States for some time in the near future, I decided to let me see if I need how much yarn I'm actually going to need, because the size I'm doing, it calls for 1,097 yards of yarn. But that's only if you're doing the cuff to the length of the pattern, because the cuffs in the hem that she calls for is longer than what I will typically do. For me, I prefer more of a 2-inch hem or a 2-inch cuff. Anything more than that, I only like that for my oversized sweater. And for this sweater, I want it to be a bit more fitted. And so I'm just going to be doing a 2-inch cuff instead of the cuff length that the pattern calls for. I'm intentionally not sharing that detail about the pattern length because, pay for pattern. So anywho, this is what my sweater looks like so far. I have a third of the sleeve are done. I tried on the sleeve and it comes to like the midpoint of my arm, and I'm doing my decreasing right now, and then I'm going to, do the additional finishing touches. I'm not going to do another welt around it, even though that's what the pattern calls for, because I don't think I'm going to have enough yarn. And so what I am making myself do, I'm going to finish the first sleeve to the length I want it to be, and then I'm going to work on the body. I went ahead and ordered more yarn from Wool & Company because the store I purchased the yarn I'm currently use, they're all out of it, and they don't have a date of when they're going to be shipping more of the color I did. So the colors I did for my sweater, I'm using Spincycle's Holy Toledo, and I'm using, for my main color, I'm using Knitting for Olive in the color Rainy Day. So this is what it looks like. My yoke came out outstanding. And when I finished the yoke is the reason why I was like, sister-in-law, would you like one? Because the yoke was so much fun to do. I had a good time doing it. So Holy Toledo is what I use primarily, but where you see the little purple, that's called Cabinet of Secrets. That is a colorway exclusive to Circle of Stitches in Salem, Massachusetts. They're not necessarily my local yarn store, but it is. So I do enjoy going there fairly often. So all in all, we're starting to make some progress. This is what I was able to do just today while my son was getting a haircut. So I'm really pleased the way that it came out. So that is work in progress number one. I should have that finished. If I stay focused, I definitely think I can get it done by the end of next week, because Woolen Company is pretty quick about shipping their yarn. So I know I'll have it by Wednesday. So I think by next Wednesday, Saturday, I can have that on a web block. I am also doing a test knit for Zinea, I believe, or something knits. I'll put the name of it hopefully on the screen. It will definitely be in the description. The issue that I'm running into is that I know how to read color work charts clearly, because there's an example there, but I'm not the most advanced color work knitter. I need to do more color work charts, and I just think the pattern is just a little too advanced for me. I keep because the way that she does it, she's making sure that it lines up exactly no matter where your size is. And the way she did her grading is that if you are doing one particular size, you are starting here in a color work chart. If you're doing another size, you're starting here. And so I've picked that up. I'm following those directions. But when you go to do the next round of the color work chart, you have to start from a specific point. And I thought I did start at the right one, but it just came out wrong. So it's a little frustrating. So I promised myself I'm going to give it one more try. I figured 3 times is a charm, because I ripped out that sweater 3 times. So I guess I did do 3 times already. So I wanted to give it one more try when I'm not feeling as frustrated and I'm not as distracted, because at the time when I started the test knit, I was doing my consultant work, trying to get my sons back and forth to camp, and trying to start getting myself mentally prepared for the start of the school year. So it's quite a possibility. I mean, I was not as mentally focused yet for it. So my hope is to get back into that. So Monday, September 1st is my day to like sit and knit all day. I think it's a wonderful way just to get myself reset and ready to go for the start of the school year. But in addition to my test knit and my Ooey Gooey whip, another oh my God, I am just over the moon and like, yes. So I mentioned months ago, I wanted to get into spinning, and I went and bought down a rabbit hole and bought way too many drop spindles. And I am finally pleased to say that I was able to find a drop spindle class where I have a really cool teacher who was teaching us how to spin. So this is my drop spindle. I got it from a yarn store in Burlington, Massachusetts called Another Yarn. It's a really great yarn store. Highly recommended. They have such a beautiful selection of it. Great customer service. They have a wonderful sitting section where you can sit and knit or get some knitting support or crochet support as well. But my spindle is produced by Revolution Fibers, and yeah, that's the full name of it. And I am doing the class with Boston Fiber Company, which is located in Boston, Massachusetts. It's like right in the heart of it. Once you get off at exit 14, you'll do a couple of turns here and there, but you'll get there. It's pretty easy to find as well. And I really, really love the vibe of the store, as well as so many different activities that they invite you to do. So this is the most I have ever spun before. And I know it doesn't look amazing. Like I know it's super thick. I know that there's so much work I need to do to work on it. But the fact that I was able to get it on my needle, not my needle, my spindle, and made the type of progress I did, I'm fairly proud of myself. So my goal is to work on this tonight, because today is the second the last day of the class, and we will be doing what is the word? We're going to learn how to use the wheel, and we're not using an electric spinner, which is something I think I'm going to buy from Rhinebeck. I know that there's an electric spinner that's going to be on display at different locations. So my goal when I'm at Rhinebeck this year is to practice with that. So this is my yarn that Boston Fiber Company gave me. I already have a whole slew of yarn, as well as my drop spindle. And I also purchased a support spindle because I didn't know which one I was going to need. So I have this one as well. I think this is just a regular drop spindle, but I do have this little support spindle that goes with it. And I believe this is what I'm going to be using for that. And I noticed that with this one, the world is a little bit lower. So I'm going to try this one out as well as this. So when I'm done filming today, I'm going to try to rush through my homework as well. So and it just reminded me of the Wicked colors, and that was what gravitated me towards that. And I still have all this fiber that I randomly purchased from Etsy. There was this little Etsy shop that was online that had so much, like, here's some pink, and it's just a whole different like sample of yarn. And now that I've taken the class, I realized that I can't just go right into drop spindling. I gotta like prep it. So for example, you are supposed to, pull it apart, and then once you do that, you want to make it really nice and thin here, like almost like a pancake flat or a flapjack. And so like once you are successful at pulling it apart and making sure that it's fully teased out, you are going to either connect it to your leader or to your hook and then get started with it. And I realized the key to being successful with drop spindle is it makes my nose itch. But it's really coming down to, it's about drafting. Like, you got to learn how to draft, and you have to, once you get the hang of drafting, I think everything else will fall into place. So it has been such a joy, and I'm just so happy I finally found a class that I'm enjoying. It's a small group of us. We had a really nice showing last week, and then I went with one of my knitting friends from a knitting group, and so we had a good time, and I can't wait to do it tonight. And so I already told my husband, I'm like, I'm out. So that's one of my works in progress as well. And I hope the next time I'm here, I can share with you a little bit more consistency and better progress. But all in all, what I shared with you, this is the best I have ever done when it's come down to making yarn. So I'm going to keep it up, and hopefully I will find some success for that. So in addition to those two specific works in progress, on September 1st, I will be starting not one, not two, but three new projects. So the first project I wanted to share with you that I'm going to be starting is called The Scoop. This is a sweater by Hoagie Luggatelli, and I've had this in my queue for a hot minute, and for whatever reason could not get it going. Several reasons include not the right yarn, not the right time, not the right mindset, but I am now ready. I'm going to use my Hoagie Luggatelli prize bag from last year to do the scoop, and I decided to use my yarn from Bendigo Woolen Mills, and the colors I chose are Luxury Pearl, and I'm going to also pair it with Lily Pilly. So these are my two colors. This would be my main color. I have the most in this particular yarn, and so I'm just going to go for it and I know this isn't going to run out. I don't have enough of this, but I'm going to make it work to the best of my ability. So it's going to be mostly purple, but it's all good. I cannot wait to cast that finally on my needles. So that's the first project that will be going on the needles. The second project that will be going on my needles that I have been going back and forth with, and I even started a little bit, it's called the Spark. So Spark Socks. This is an Andrea Mowry pattern. So here, see, I started to cuff. I had initially started it and messed up big time. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a break, because it's hard doing colorwork socks. It is not my strong suit. And I realized that in order for me to be successful with sock knitting, I need to make sure I truly understand the construction of a sock. So although I'm really excited about working on the Sparks, a part of me wants to do another vanilla sock that does the heel flap and gusset, that maybe has some stripes in it, just so I can get familiar with the color work, because I've done helico knitting doing Magic Loop, and there was no problem with that. But with color work, I find that Magic Loop and I, we're not the best of friends. So this is the bag where my sock knitting is going to be living. This is a bag by Yarn and Whiskey, and my hope is that the Spark Socks, which I'm using Matte Pipes Swanky Sock, the colorway, I don't know. I purchased this years ago, so I don't remember the colorway for it, but it's like a little teal, and I'm sure they have some version of this on their site. And I'm using some leftover Spincycle yarn that I found in my collection. I don't know where I got this yarn. I don't know what the name of it, but I saw it and I was like, oh, this will be a really nice contrasting color. But then I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, maybe they're too close in similarity, but I'm going to try to make it work. And what else do I have in here? There's one more. Oh, I'm also going to use this other leftover. So I'm just trying to, I literally went through my collection just to see what are all the little balls of Spincycle that I have that I've collected over the years, and I'm going to throw it into the socks and make it look pretty. So those are going to be, they were going to become my new sock attention, but a part of me is saying, you know what, just Rachel, just wait, because I have a ton of, no, I shouldn't say a ton. I only have about 3 or 4 skeins. I have about 3 or 4 skeins of self-striping yarn that I can make a vanilla pair of socks with that allows me or requires me to use a heel flap and gusset. So I don't know. I'm still on a fence about whether or not to move forward with that. Summer Lee has a great colorwork pattern in her sock project book that I'm thinking about casting on first and then doing that. I'm just itching to do a sock project, and I need something on my needles that is a sock project. I genuinely enjoy sock knitting, and when I'm done with some of my sweater knitting, I really just want to focus on that. So the scoop is my first project that will be cast on Monday the 1st. A sock, whether it's Sparks or another, will be my sock focus. And the third and final project I'm going to be working on Monday is a coming together shawl. The coming together shawl has been one of those I've been working on off and on for a hot minute. It had an epic failure. I mean, epic. So I went ahead and decided to pause on that, and I got inspiration from a cover of a book by Susan Collins called, I think it's called The Sunset or Sunrise on a Reaping, something like that. But nevertheless, it's the second prequel to the Hunger Games book. Oh, the lighting is starting to go. Here, maybe if we turn it this way. Oh, come on, sunlight. A little bit. A little bit. So sorry, folks. Here, I'm going to pause. A little bit better. I turned the light on just to make it a little bit brighter because it's a little bit of a cloudy day, but not ultra cloudy. It's such a beautiful day out today. It's definitely the perfect day to be out and about. And here I am, want to be inside to with my knitting. But I'm going to try to wrap this up because I want to be mindful of time. So the coming together shawl will be put onto my needles. I'm very excited that I finally found the right colorway, and that's all due to Kevin and Ray at Needles at the Ready, specifically Kevin, who is an amazing yarn dyer and has done a wonderful good deed by taking a very random request from a peer that he met, and it was kind enough to call a friend, and he was kind enough to dye up the yarn for me. And I sent him the picture. I was like, I just want to make this project using those colors. Like the cover in itself really drew me to it. The story was okay, but the cover was banging. And so I was like, can you help me? And he did. So I'm going to try to put this all on camera while dropping the yarn, as one does. I'm going to try one more time. Okay, here we go. These are the colors. Now I know the two purples look very similar, and again, the lighting is not helping with the cause. You would think at 2:30 it'll be a little bit brighter, but it's all good. But they are quite different. And so these are my two purples, and here's my pink, here's my gold, and here's my gray, and here's my white. And the yarn that I use, or he selected for me, is the Achilles sock and the Demeter fingering. So I'm using both yarns for this. Yeah, most of them are the Achilles sock, and the darker purple, this is on the Demeter fingering. So this is called, is that an eggplant? So that's color number 1. Color number 2 is called Queen of Shadows. Dude. Look at that. Oh my God, I cannot wait. I just cannot wait. Color number 3, because the pattern calls for 6 colors, it's called Tiger Eyes. Now, I used a version of Tiger Eyes in my stripe hype dress. So when he told me that he was going to do this, I was like, yes, because I had loved every second of knitting with that. So I cannot wait. The 4th color is Midnight Mist. The 5th color, this is called Ghost. So I love this one. And then the final color is called Pressed Petals. So these are my 6 colors that will be used in my coming together shawl. I'm going to cake them all up. I cannot wait. I'm going to sit. I already know what mug I'm using on Monday. I know I'm going to have my whole room set up. So this is my plan for Monday. Like, I can't wait. I just cannot wait to have a full day of uninterrupted knitting. I already told my family, I'm like, don't look for me, don't call me, don't ask for nothing unless you are bleeding and there's an emergency. I don't know you. So basically, on my knitting Labor Day, the goal is I'm going to wake up. I'm going to have a nice breakfast and then work out. And by 10 o'clock, I'm going to be in my yarn room. And from 10 to 12, I'm going to work on my Ooey Gooey. Then I'm going to take a little break. I'll make sure I stretch my hands, drink some water. And then at 1 o'clock, from 1 to 3, I'm going to work on my coming together shawl. And then again, I'm going to take a break, rest my hands, have a little snack, do maybe a yoga stretch. And then from 4 to 6, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start the scoop. And so I'm going to start the scoop and watch. I already know what I'm going to watch from 4 to 6. I found a documentary that I thought that would be a perfect time because the lighting, I don't know. I just thought it would be a good time. So anyhow, from 4 to 6, I'm going to watch a documentary and I'm going to be working on the scoop. Then I'm going to have dinner with my family at 6 o'clock. My husband hopefully will take care of dinner. I think I need to go over that plan with him. But anywho, and then from 7 to 8. Yeah, from 7 to 8, I'm going to work on the socks. And then I'm going to put the boys to bed because they have school on Tuesday. I'll say goodnight. And by 8:30, they should be in the bed because you know how kids are. Mommy this, mommy that, mommy this. I got to pee. I'm thirsty. This. So by 8:30, all the shenanigans should be done. And they'll be in the bed and rested. So that way they can be well rested before getting up at 7 to go to school. And we're gonna make sure the clothes are laid out. And then at from 8:30 to 10, I'm most likely going to work on the test knit. I figured that would be the best time because I know I'll be up. My husband usually dozes off by 8:30, and the boys should be all centered. And I figured that would be the only time of day where I'll be uninterrupted and I can actually focus on a test knit. And if I still struggle with it, I'm just going to have to pull out of it, which makes me sad because I hate pulling out of a test knit. I really love doing them. But all in all, I'm so excited about my knitting plans. Tomorrow, I'm going to be spending the entire day doing hair. My sons have really long hair, and over the summer they've been wearing it out like in a I wouldn't say an afro because they don't have that type of hair texture, but they've just been wearing it out in some type of poof. And and I've been trying to keep up with it, not very well. And now they want it cornrowed. Well, one of them wants his hair cornrowed and the other one wants his hair plaited. Now I can do plaits like there's nobody's business, and I can obviously, but the cornrows I struggle with a little bit because I pull really hard. So hopefully I won't. He's very tender-headed. So I'm sharing this with you because I'm trying to get myself mentally prepared for this. I do not like doing his hair because he's so tender-headed and I'm so afraid about hurting him. And we tried so many different things to help him when he's getting his hair done. So we have a great detangling routine, but it's the actually sitting down and getting his hair cornrowed that's always killer on him. So I have a numbing cream that I've used for even my own tattoos. I'm going to try on his scalp and we'll see. Oh, it's so hard. I don't want to hurt my baby who's starting 6th grade. Oh, I'm going to have a 6th grader and a 3rd grader. And when my 21-year-old stepson went into 6th grade, went into middle school, he was just like, going to middle school. See you later. It was not a big deal to him or whatsoever. So I kind of like went over our heads. But with Alexios, our 11-year-old, he's really excited about it. But anyhow, y'all are not here for me to talk about my baby going to middle school. Okay, so that's it in terms of like my knitting plans. I do have another sweater I'm hoping to cast on, but most likely I'm going to wait until the till October because I'm participating in Hoagie Luggy Telly's Ready for Fall knit along, and it's, oh, I love it. I had so much fun last year doing it. I highly recommend you doing that as well. There's still time to join as well. And I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. The words of encouragement, the ideas about different yarns and techniques. It's probably one of my favorite knit alongs to participate in, other than the Rhinebeck sweater that is hosted by Andrea Mowry. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to, for my October cast on for the knit along, I will be doing the Instant Crush, which is an mohair sweater. You're only using mohair, and I'm so nervous about it. Why? I don't know, because I know how to use mohair, but it's all good. I'm really excited. So with all that said, I am having such a wonderful time right now with my knitting and crochet. I, like a year ago this time, I was so, I think despondent is the best way to describe it, because with the different changes with my body, my mind, I was getting to know myself again. And I feel like now that I've had this year getting to know myself, I know what my how far I can go in my limitations. So with that said, I'm ready to push myself a little bit, and I'm excited that I am trying out spinning, and I'm trying out some other new techniques as well. And I cannot wait to come back in 2 weeks and share with you all what my knitting journey has been like and what outcomes. I also hope to share with you the next time I film a crochet project. I should have two. I have two co-workers who I'm fairly friendly with, who are also having their first babies as well. So I volunteered to make them a baby's blanket too. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So I just want to say, because I'm going to say so 5 more times, thank you so much for staying tuned. If you made it this far in a video, kudos to you. And I can't wait to talk to you guys again in 2 weeks, just to catch you up on my knitting journey. And I would love to hear like what's going on in your knitting journey as well. Share. Talk to you soon. See you in 2 weeks.